I enjoy it. I work all week with no fault of their own.
Hello and welcome to the Grassroots Hotline, where we talk all things grassroots football, and usually we hear your dilemmas. But this week, it's a little bit different because we have someone who lives it week in, week out there on the sidelines at the facilities. Very grateful to be joined today in the studio by Wes from Kirkham Juniors. So Wes, welcome. Very
okay?
well, thank you. Yes, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I wonder, just to start with, why don't you tell us a little bit about your role and the club in general?
So, Kirkham Juniors, we were founded in 1972. We were one of the longest serving grassroots clubs in the area. We began small, 11-a-side team per age group, from under 8s up to under 15s. That's how we started, playing on local fields that were made into a football pitch. We've got an army base called Wheaton Camp near us. We used to first started off playing on the pitches there at Wheaton Camp. They'd give us a pitch to play on. Move forward 10 years, we were back on council pitches that was probably no better than where you just come from, but you had to take what opportunities you had pitches in the area. The club's been run by the same guy for pretty much 50 years, a guy called Pete Woods. He ran it as a single-man crew for probably 40 years.
Wow.
Just with one of his mates, just helping him out. And Kirkham Juniors wouldn't be Kirkham Juniors now if it weren't for Pete, to be fair. Then one of my best mates stepped in to have a chat with Pete Woods. He got ring-rolled into Pete saying, I want to retire. My mate saying, I'll help you out. Let's see where we go from here. And from that day, me, my mate, and 3-4 other mates, we just set forward, ex-players of the club, been through the club before, all the way through the club. We just thought, we can do this, and try and carry the club forward. And to be fair, we've done well. There's been struggles, big struggles along the way. But right now, we've just done an agreement with the local council for some pitches in Kirkham for a 10-year rent agreement. We've never had teams playing in Kirkham the last 3-4 years just for lack of pitches in the area. We have a site out in Wharton that's run professionally by full-time groundsmen. 4 pitches there. We have another pitch in Wheaton. We have a pitch in Wesham. And then we have the main hub at Coronation Road in Kirkham. And we want to bring football back to Kirkham, basically. Well, that's the community that we're from.
Yeah.
And that's Kirkham. That's where we need to be. So luckily, the council have come forward and give us a 6-acre site, which only has, at the minute, 11-a-side pitch with a 9-a-side pitch marked out inside it. The whole right-hand side of the field, which is probably about 3-4 acres of unused land, it's just a field with holes in. You can stand in it, holes up to your knees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's bad. We've had mould problems down there. One of the pitches got condemned by a Lancashire FA about 3 years ago because we had about 100 molehills. Oh. So the molehills create tunnels under the ground.
Yeah.
Makes the surface risky, so we lost that pitch. No one intends to have any money to put forward to help us fix that pitch, so it's just become left and left and left. Where now we're in a unique opportunity to take the club probably to, in my opinion, the next level of where it needs to be. Stability for the club in the short term, but long term, it just gives the kids the best opportunities to have the best pitches that we can afford to give them.
Yeah.
And it just brings everything back to Kirkham. I grew up on Coronation Road. My mum and dad's house is 5 doors away from where the fields were. So it started off with Kirkham and Wesham, an adult team playing down there that turned into AFC Fyldes, and now in the Northern League.
Yeah.
Been trying to get into they've been into the conference and they were trying to push into the Football League. That's where they was based, down at Coronation Road. So I've watched them come from guys that go in a pub playing football at the local club to now a very successful AFC Fylde. And it's just madness. From where it were back in 1984 when I joined Kirkham Juniors as a 6-year-old to where we are now and I'm back involved with the club, it's just wow. It's just madness, really. Yeah.
And so obviously you mentioned that I guess just coming back to the kind of start of the origins of it all. So obviously you played for the club, and was it just a case where your mate just almost roped you into joining the committee? How did that?
Yeah, well, back in 1984, going back a long way, yeah. I had a conversation with my dad the other day, because my dad's like, you're doing a lot of work with these pictures and that, and the stress that it causes, like parents always have that bit of worry that you look stressed, etc. And then my dad said, it's funny, he says, I remember back in 1984, Wes, when I took you down onto the pitches to play football, they were being reseeded by the groundsman at the time then, and the groundsman went nuts at me for a 6-year-old lad running around his freshly seeded grass. And right now, that's where I'm at. Yeah, where I've done a lot of pitch work at the site in Westham that we have. We've reseeded that over the last 3-4 years, and we've got it to a decent standard now. Like, the first year that I did it, I went out and bought, the club went out and bought a few hundred lengths of water pipe. We connected it to the building of the council, and I ran them water pipes 24/7 for 4 weeks. At the end of it, I got a water bill for nearly £2,000.
Oh my God.
But I got the pitches that I wanted.
Yeah.
And to me, the £2,000 was like,
worthwhile.
Yeah, money well spent. The council didn't think it at the time, but it's for the good of the club. It's for the good of the kids. It's for the area.
That's the biggest thing. It's all about the community. It's all about the kids. It's all
100%.
Everything a local club does. And we were just talking about this before we kind of came on the podcast fully. But I feel like there is sometimes this disconnect between parents who sometimes think that they're paying for like a service for the club because they're paying a fee, and then their kid is getting coaching or games or whatever it might be in return. But in reality, they maybe don't understand that every penny of that, generally speaking, is invested back in for the benefit of their children.
Yeah. We're very lucky at the minute. We've got a lady on the committee called Gemma. She's the treasurer of the club. Project Home wouldn't have taken off without Gemma. She's very tight on her money, though. She watches every penny that we spend, but it's good. She's probably generated us more money over the last 18 months than what the club's generated for a while. We did a black tie event 12 months ago, raised £5,500 just for that one night, and it was the best night ever. Beers were flowing, food were flowing, and it was just like, wow. And everyone come out of there going, God, I wish I had gone to it. And then when you were hearing people say, I wish I had gone, you thought, we've done it. It was a success. So that was good. But going back to your old point, I played for the club from 6-year-old to under 17s. Then I found alcohol, and etc. at 17, 18. And then you took that time out, went and did what you do. I had my first child at 30. I tried to push my first lad, because with my first lad, I just thought football. So I tried to push him get into that love of football like dad had, and he just went into it. And it was hard work at first, because I really wanted him to give it a go, but he just went into it, which were fine. So I had to kind of leave him to it. He's now very successful in his own work that he does, and I'm very proud of him. Not gone down the football route that I wanted. My other two lads are going down, but yeah, still very proud of him. And then my second child, when he was 6, I took him down to the field that we've just required now. And I remember going down there on my first day training, and straight away I knew Pete Woods, the guy that we're running the club, and he just dragged me in to get involved with the kids. And I just thought, wow, I've missed this.
Yeah.
The kids look up to you. And I don't want respect or anything, but how young kids come into that coaching environment, and they really do look up to the coach. I've noticed it through every age group that I go around now. I don't think a coach realises what a connection the young kids have to the coach.
Yeah.
So as Leo, my 6-year-old, started off then, one of my best mates, he was involved with the committee, and he kept pestering, going, come on, let's just get on board and let's give it a go. Let's try and get on the committee and see where we can take the club. And at first I was just like, nah, not for me, mate. No chance. Full-time job. It's enough coaching a team. 12 months down the line, I'm on the committee.
Still working the full-time job as well?
Still working the full-time job, yeah.
So when do you find the time?
You've got to find time.
Is that the question?
You've got to make time.
So you're voluntarily doing this, right?
Yeah, we have. The committee runs at the moment 7 committee members. Some people have more time than others, but we all have our specific roles. So as long as everyone does a role at the club, it just we just plod through, like we get through every day as it goes. WhatsApp messages, unbelievable. Yeah. I work nights, so I go to bed 7:30 in the morning. Sometimes I can get up at dinner time and I can have like 50 messages on your WhatsApp. And you're like, oh, now I've got to deal with all them because of club issues. So you're doing that. Then you go school run, picking the kids up from the school, back home, tea, straight out to work, 12-hour night shift, back home, few hours sleep, and then we go again. But I love it. Yeah, it keeps me busy. Keeps me out of trouble as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
The missus doesn't like me on the phone all the time because
understandably so.
Like when I am at home, I'll just sit in the chair, TV will be on, kids will be doing whatever they want, and I'm just on my phone, just like replying to messages. It's just constant. It is a constant running of a grassroots club. I've always said a grassroots club would benefit by having a full-time person on the committee running the club properly as a full-time job. But you can't afford to pay somebody full-time like that. So that's why it's so important, the volunteers that we get into the club. But on a bigger picture, I always feel that on the outside, parents always think, oh, the committee runs the club. It just carries on as it is. But they don't understand that the committee need the parents more than anything.
Yeah.
If you don't have the support of the local parents committee, if everyone doesn't pull together, you're failing. It's just so important to pull the community together. And we are lucky in Kirkham that with the fundraising that we're doing right now for Project Home to try and get these new pitches sorted out, we're trying to raise £70,000. We only started the funding 3 weeks ago, and through Gemma and myself and the other committee, we managed to raise £30,000.
Wow.
£10,000 of that's club's money that we put forward through the fundraising of what we've done over the last few years. We've had a £10,000 donation from a big company that don't really want to say who they are right now.
Fair enough.
And then we've had like £10,000 on the GoFundMe page. We will hit the target. I've got 4 weeks left to do it. I need to get the contractors on site mid-April. So I've got between now and mid-April to get the site going, basically. Like, and I do believe that people have probably thought when we first put this out, they're asking for £70,000. They've no chance. Well, I assure you, we will get that money.
Honestly, Wes, I came across the story of Kirkham Juniors and Project Home in the Lancashire Business View. It's like a local paper sort of thing.
Yeah.
And when I saw £70,000, I thought, wow, that's ambitious.
It is. It's very ambitious. But we're all over social media at the minute. Like we've had to get it out there because we need support. It's just, without everyone supporting, everyone chipping in, this ain't going to take off. And luckily for us, it's taken off. It's gone viral in our area. People are interested. Business people are contacting the club saying we can help you. Since people know that we're trying to raise £70,000 also, you get negative posts, negative comments to when you're putting something out positive.
Do you also find that you've got, like, because it's a construction project, right?
Yeah, which it is, yeah.
Does that then attract bad contractors? I'm
not going to say anyone's a bad contractor, but you get a lot of people saying, you're not doing the right thing. What you're wasting £70,000 on.
And how do you, obviously you're working a job, you've got your family, you're doing things, you're replying to messages. How do you then layer on top of that? Like you've got to try and figure out what is right, what is wrong, and you yourself are not necessarily
That's the side that I don't like.
Okay.
You're being trusted with other people's money here. Like as a committee right now, we're being given a big responsibility to make sure that we spend the money in the right place and make sure it's spent with the right contractors. We've had that many contractors that have come down saying, we can do it cheaper, we can do this, why don't you do the whole site? You've just got to go with your gut feeling, doing a bit of research into each company of who's come down, etc. But I kind of feel that it's on my head at the minute because I do look after the pitches for Kirkham Juniors. That's what my role as the committee has been. I've always looked after facilities. We have AFC filed for winter training, so we train up at AFC filed on 4G pitches. They're just little five-a-side cages.
Yeah.
But we have 26 teams up there every week.
Wow.
That's at a cost at £50 per cage per team. That's for 26 weeks of the year. You work that out yourselves, yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Trying to do the maths, but I don't think I've got that in my locker.
We're probably talking about just short of £40,000 that the club spend on a facility that we have to spend it on, but that money could go into a lot better scenarios. But it is where we are.
Yeah.
We have to pay that out with no other option. Unfortunately for grassroots football, I do feel that if you don't have a 4G facility in your club's falling behind a little bit because the bad weather that we have all the time at the moment, rain, games called off, pitches waterlogged. And then when you have a bit of dry weather, you're getting a team on, the pitch cuts up within a game, and then you choose to have another 2 games on that pitch. Like I've had groundsmen at another site that we use. I had them on the phone the other week that we played 3 games on one 5-a-side pitch. It was a nice, beautiful grass pitch when we started. By the end of it, it was a bloodbath. Yeah, like you would not believe. But that's where we are. I love it. I do. It's stressful. It's hard work. But it's pleasing when you see all the kids out on the field on a Saturday morning, going around the different sites that we have, pitches, and just seeing the kids enjoy themselves. We've got 2 girls' teams. They were quite new over the last few years. We had a girl called Kate, who's the coach for one of the girls' teams. She really did set up the girls' side of the club, got the girls' football going. Now we're at this point of where we want to create more pitches. It allows us to bring more girls, try and set up the girls' football side. The girls' football side's always been a hard one to maintain.
Why is that?
For a personal side, I feel like that they get to secondary school, they step up to secondary school, and the physicality of the lads, girls, becomes
because they're playing mixed
football at
younger age groups. Yeah.
And then some girls tend to drop out. It's too physical, which isn't right.
Yeah.
Because the girls are as good as the lads. The girls develop, they're a lot more developed than the lads.
Yeah.
So you might have an 8-year-old girl that's actually 10-year-old in her head, where an 8-year-old lad can be 6-year-old in his head.
Yeah.
And you've got a massive gap difference, but the girls are just so more mature. And the 2 girl teams that we've got going right now, it's pleasing to see that they're doing very well for themselves. We've struggled with the pitches. We lost the under-16s and under-18s teams. We always had an under-16s and under-18s. Last year, we lost the under-16s, so this season we've had no under-16 teams, and that's down to pitches again. At the moment, it's 1 11-a-side pitch for 8 teams. We're sending teams away from home on a weekly basis because we can't accommodate them, which is no good as a club.
Yeah.
As a club with 300 odd kids, we should be able to hold matches at a regular basis at home. But this new project home will give us that light.
So I think people could piece together what Project Home is, but we've not actually said it explicitly.
Yeah.
You will raise £70,000 for Kirkham Juniors. We know it's related to pitches. What are you wanting to do with that money? What's it going to do for the club?
The £70,000 we first told when the first contractor come down on site, £62,000 to do the half the pitches that we needed doing.
And it needs 4G pitches?
No, this is just grass pitches. So it's just pardon me, it's just a field. Yeah, that's all it is. A field with rabbit holes, molehills, and we've spent the last 3 months getting on top of that. Now the £70,000 will put on site. It'll have a full-size 11-a-side pitch. We'll have a small 11-a-side pitch, a 9-a-side pitch inside the 11-a-side pitch, a 7-a-side pitch, a 5-a-side pitch. And if I get my way, we'll probably just get away with squeezing one more pitch on there. It's open. It's an open field, so you've got to be careful what you're spending because you're still going to get your dog walkers that go down there. And to be fair, a lot of them are very respectable, but you always get the odd one that have no respect for the area that they're walking the dog in, dogs off lead, etc., etc. Dog duties every Saturday morning for every coach that goes down there. But the money, we've got 6 weeks basically. We had 6 weeks to raise the £70,000. I'll be honest, I didn't think it was even possible. But yeah, again, Gemma constantly nagging me, we can do this. And then you only need one donation to give you that bit of a boost and go, oh, we can do this.
Yeah.
People believe in it.
You're checking the GoFundMe page like 24/7. Like it's just checking constantly just to see, because honestly, every pound helps. Like, and we've said this on many of occasions on our social media. We've had 80,000 hits on the topic that we're doing right now with the Project Home, and just £1 from everyone, you hit your target.
Yeah.
But I think everyone kind of waits and thinks, oh, they'll donate, somebody else will donate.
I think
you'll get there.
We always say to people, like, if you spend the price of a pint, like, £3-4, or the price of a coffee nowadays is about £5.
Yeah.
Chuck that to your local club just as a one-off payment.
Yeah.
And not only will it probably be your child that is benefiting from that, whether it's now or later in life, whatever, even if you're not part of the club right now. But even still, like, just being part of a community where all of the kids that you see are off the street, they're playing football, they're in a kind of disciplined environment, a controlled environment, they're learning all these social skills as well. Surely that's what we want.
Yeah, 100%. Mental health's massive. Like, even in kids.
Yeah.
Some kids really struggle. Some kids can't afford to come to football. We have a policy at Kirkham Juniors where no child can't afford to play football. If a family's in need where they think we can't afford £25 a month subs, we let the child join the club for free. Like, the £25 a month subs that we charge is, yes, we want everyone to pay £25 a month because it helps keep the club afloat, pays referee fees, pitch fees, line marking, grass cutting, match kit, training kit, rain jackets, drill tops. It all goes towards buying all them things. But like I say, there's no kids. If there's anyone out there in our area that can't afford to pay subs, it doesn't mean that they can't play football. They'll come down and play for free. Yeah. And we've always had that policy at the club, which I just think is great for the community. We come from a small town, probably about 13,000 population. And I dare say more than half will have been through Kirkham Juniors at some point. And if their kids haven't been through Kirkham Juniors, the friends' kids will have been through Kirkham Juniors. And it just goes on like it's a big... Well, it's the biggest community place in Kirkham, really, is for sport. Kirkham Juniors, it's good.
So if I was to ask them, because I speak to clubs all the time, and loads of them are always looking for, whether it's like Football Foundation grants, and then they need to get match funding, or generally just a bit short of cash, and they would love to try and do some donation stuff. And obviously you've got this incredible target that you will hit, and you're already nearly halfway through it, which is amazing. But for clubs out there who are listening and thinking, how did you do it? And you mentioned the black tie event as the kind of starting point. What's been your strategy or ethos, or like just something that maybe other clubs could just take on and learn from? I guess starting with the black tie one, maybe.
The we're 55 years now, grassroots football. We planned on having a 50th celebration. COVID
hit, yeah.
Scooping everything. Then the committee changed. In that process, a few more different members joined the committee because it's a 2-year thing. You have to be voted back on in 2 years' time rolling, which that makes it difficult as well because you don't always have that stability. So your committee can be there for 2 years, and at the end of that 2 years, that whole committee could change.
Is that a club thing or is that a football?
And that's the policy that we have, where it goes through that every 2 years every year you have your AGM, where new members can come onto the committee. But if you had enough people showing interest to come onto the committee, they could vote the whole committee off that ran the club for the last 2 years. So
kind of crazy in a way.
It's madness. It is madness because you can spend 2 years of your time really putting into the club, doing your fundraising, and then in 12 months' time, someone might go, I won't do what you're doing, and you could get voted off.
You'd say to
and it's just madness, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've never been in that situation. I don't ever expect it's going to happen, but it does play on your mind when you're putting a lot of work and effort into a certain project that you think, I might not be here in 2 years' time, right? But I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want the best for the kids in the area.
Can I ask, why does that mean so much to you? Like, obviously, I think anyone watching this can feel your passion.
I've just grown up with Kirkham Juniors, just since I was 6 years old. Like I say, it was bottom of my mum and dad's road. Mental health's been pretty important to me since COVID. I've had a few personal problems. My middle lad, who's 14, he's got issues. He's not in school, secondary school. He's not been in secondary school for the last 3 years. He only goes to school 2 hours a day. That's put a strain on the family at home with all 5 of us, really. I don't think I really appreciated kids' mental health till I witnessed what my lad's gone through, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then it just broadens you, it makes you think a bit wider and really appreciate like how kids think and how they relate to things. And by having a facility to go out on a weeknight, to go and train, to forget all the problems, because a lot of families do struggle now, like money-wise, bills, as we're going through right now, petrol, like bills are going up for people, wages don't look the same. Some kids can't afford to be fed 3 times a day. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's hard out there, and that coming to a local community club just lets them forget about things for an hour, and just seeing the smiles running around. It's not all smiles, there's sometimes screaming, crying, shouting, but it's all part of what we do. It's good. But the mental health side of it, I just think it's really important for kids. Like, we've had a lot of tough years. And that's everywhere and everyone around, and it's not just Kirkham Juniors kids, it's all kids are across the South Coast, all areas have all had tough times. But if you've got that stability for somewhere for them to go, it just gives that release of forget what's going on at home, what's going on out in the outside world, and that hour on a weeknight training and then on a Saturday morning, you just forget your problems. And like I say, I've had many problems over the last 5 years. And there's nothing better than going down to a pitch on a Saturday morning or to a Sunday afternoon game with my lad that I run his team, and you just forget your problems. Yeah. And it's good. Like, and it's crazy that you can go into a game beforehand with the biggest problems in your head. As soon as that whistle blows, and you kick off a game, then problems have gone. Yeah. And it's not till the drive home in the car that you go, bum it, I've not thought about that issue kind of thing. Like, I just, as sad as it is, I live and breathe Kirkham Junior Football Club. I just want the best. That's all I want. Like, I've had a lot of meetings with a lot of business people over the last couple of weeks, going out asking for big money from people. Like, and you feel a bit cheeky at times going out, but if you don't ask, you don't get. I've always believed in that. Like, I don't mind if I get 100 no's. That one yes could be game changing for the club. Yeah. And like I say, I can't thank people enough right now for how people have got on board with us and helped us to get to where we are. To reach that £30,000 mark in 3 weeks is mind blowing. We will get there.
Do you know what I love about this as well? There's just no ego at all. It's just it's for the club, it's for the kids, and everything you keep saying is basically, it's always bringing it back to that. And it's just a natural thing for you that everything is all about that local community. With
this project home that we've done, it's got us out there a bit more. People are talking about us. There's a local soccer HQ, Preston. It's run by Joe Garner, an ex-Preston North End Rangers player. Now
he scored a screamer in the playoffs once,
right? He certainly did, yeah. Probably the best goal he's ever scored for Preston. He's at Oldham now, but he's as a soccer HQ. And he specialises in 4s, 5s and 6-year-olds. So we've had a couple of meetings with Joe and his team, and we're looking to bring them into the club to take over the under 4s, 5s and 6s for us. We've never ran under 4s before because, as I said to them, it's one of the hardest age groups to get going.
Why is that?
I just feel that parents don't like to step forward and help out straight away at that early stage of the first year of joining grassroots football. They kind of want somebody to be in there running the team for their child in it.
Yeah.
But also, because you're a volunteer club, you need them parents to step forward to take the team. So generally a committee member would run the team for 6 months. Then you're pulling at parents at the side watching, come and get involved. But then you've got to go down a DBS process, safeguarding, first aid. It's not just a straightforward, back when I first started playing football, that any parent could just join in and help out. You've got to follow protocol right now. That makes it hard because then other people go, oh, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that. So by bringing Soccer HQ Preston into it, we'll take all that away from us. They'll come in, they'll take the training sessions, and they're very good training sessions. I've been and watched a couple of Joe's sessions, and the interaction he's got with 4, 5 and 6-year-olds. My first time I went and watched it, I was like, wow, how can you run it like that? But honestly, it blew my mind. So that we're just finalising the finer details of that to get them started, hopefully after Easter. But I believe by bringing Joe and Soccer HQ into the club will give the standard of players a lot better. It's a long process.
Yeah.
And it is going to take time to drill it all the way through the club, but hopefully it can be a successful partnership.
Sounds like Kirkham's in an amazing place right now.
It's just...
It feels like you've got so many things going on, and you're at that kind of point of that snowball moment where at the moment you're kind of pushing everything up a hill, and then at some point it's just going to start rolling itself down again.
It is, and going back with Soccer HQ again, like Joe, he approached us. He's offered free coaching. Yeah.
Wow.
That professional coaching for 4, 5, 6-year-olds to come out and say, look, let us take your session. You help us on social media. You get us out there. Holiday clubs. You help us out there.
Yeah.
Let's make it work together. It's never been about money for me. When money's been talked about, I'm not interested in money. I don't care about the money. I just want the kids to play football. I think Joe was kind of like, wow, it's refreshing to hear I'm having a meeting with someone that hasn't spoke about money. And it wasn't about money. I could have said, look, I just want your money, Joe. I need money to try and build a pitch. It wasn't about that. The £70,000 will come through generosity of people that want to just come forward and help us, and that's what we're finding. But this is a big deal with Soccer HQ, that it's going to give the club a lot better profile, a lot better standard of players coming through the club, and hopefully that'll lead to more cup finals, more leagues, more winning cup finals. We've had that many teams that was in cup finals last year. I think we lost every one bar one final. It was like, wow, what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
But the standard is very good. Like in grassroots football, like you can have your top divisions like the Blackpool League. In the under-7s, there's 8 different groups, and they're all done on ability-wise. So you have your top group that's a really high standard, going down to your less weaker kids. But that, again, to me, I'm not bothered about the weaker kids. Like, the weaker kids are the important kids.
I was about to say
I've seen it so many times where we've set up a team and they've been classed as the weaker team, and within 12 months, by the time they go to under-8s, that weaker team's a stronger team.
Yeah.
And it is down to the coaching again. If the right coaching's there, kids can develop so quick. Like, honestly, I've seen so many like kids that have come into the club that you think they're not interested. They're nowhere. They're just doing their own little day's dream, like looking around, or dad shouting at sidelines, and then they're looking over at dad. And then 12 months down the line, you think, oh God, that's the same kid that was here 12 months ago that lacked confidence, lacked belief in himself. Touches the ball. It's just crazy how football can touch so many people.
Powerful.
Yeah,
sport.
it's very powerful. And it's sucked me in. It's had me where I am now.
Do you have any moments that stand out? Anything when you think about all those hours that you put in and you think that made it worth it?
Yeah, I've had some good and bad. I'm not going to go into the bad because I don't want to drag up the past. We've got over that. Like, we've had some tough times. We've had fallouts with people on the committee. Yeah. It's never personal. Do you know, like, you can have disagreements between you on the committee. Like, I might have one idea. Somebody else on the committee might have a complete opposite idea to me. That works.
It's important.
Yeah, you don't want to come up with an idea on the committee, say it, and then everyone go, yeah, that's a good idea. You want that one that comes down and goes, no, it's a stupid idea. We shouldn't be doing that. And then that's where you get to the point of, right, that's the right scenario now, we'll go down that route.
Yeah.
But you need them different thoughts and mindsets of each individual, because that's what gets you to where you are. Yeah, it's good. But as for me high points, back again, me middle lad Leo, we got to cup final of under-7s. We was always thereabouts for being like one of the better teams at the under-7s age group, but we come up to cup final against a YMCA team. They'd gone all season undefeated. We had a final at AFC filed. I think we were 2 or 3-0 down, and we pulled it back to 3-3, and then it went to a penalty shootout.
This is like Istanbul.
Yeah, mate, honestly, it was just for your first season of coaching and the highs of it was just like, wow.
Did you win the penalty shootout?
We won the penalty shootout, yeah. So
what a story.
We beat a team that had been undefeated all season. They were known in the area as being the best team, and we beat them. And the celebrations at a stadium. We played at the final at AFC Fowler Stadium, parents in the stand, and the kids taking the shirts off, swirling the shirts around. Like, it was just like mind-blowing. It's one of them things that sticks in my mind to this day. Like, I remember talking to the kids after the game and saying, remember this now, like, you're in a final, you've won a final, yeah? You might never get that opportunity ever again in grassroots. You might never get that opportunity again playing football, because it's a tough old sport out there. You're not guaranteed, because you got to one final, that you're going to get to the next final. We won that final. Luckily, we've been to, I'd probably say, 4 finals, and we've lost every one since. So I always do go back to that chat that I had with him, that remember the good times. There is going to be some bad times. There's going to be some times where you're unhappy. But just remember to play with a smile on your face. This season, we're in the under-14s now, so 7 years down the line with the same team. We're in the under-14s. We started off with 17 players in July. By October, end of October, we had 11 players. They found girls. They found partying on a Saturday night instead of coming to football on a Sunday morning. And they've just found other interests. They're at that age, 13, 14, where they get other interests, not as old as keen. So since Christmas, we've been playing 11-a-side football. Some weeks we've played with 9 men. Some weeks we've had 11. Some weeks we've had 10. We've done better with 9 men than we have with 17. Like, the team ethic from the kids that are there, in that 9, 10, 11 of them, how they've pulled together and gone out and played for one another, has just been like, wow, what a set of lads.
Yeah.
And it makes you dead proud.
I can sense the pride.
Yeah, I can as well.
We've played, there's a good team in our area called BJFF, Kirkham Juniors. Very good side, always been a side that have always pushed us every time. And we played with 9 men against them and drew 0-0. We had a chance.
I love a 0-0. I actually love a 0-0 like that as well. It's so good. Just grind out that result. And you get to the end of it and you're like, wow.
And it was like that.
The Warriors.
It was, one of the away team parents came round to us at the end of the game and just said, like, wow, you deserve to win that game. We had a chance in the last probably 30 seconds of the game where the lad who played up front for us, he should have scored. How we missed it to this day, I don't know yet. But you're just so proud that 9 lads have gone out and worked the backsides off and just worked for one another, pulled one another out of the dirt, and then pulled that 0-0 draw. It was just as good as a win, basically. Then, between me and my coach, Nick, we've kept thinking we're going to really struggle since Christmas. We only have 9 players. We're up there in the top, around the top of the league, floating around the top of the league, yeah.
There's no what I was expecting you to say.
I think there's 11 teams in the league. I think we've played 7, won 3, drawn 2, lost 2. The games that we've lost, we shouldn't have lost. But I'm not bothered.
Yeah.
Like, the 11 lads won't realise how much they mean to us and like how hard they've really put a graft in on a Sunday. Because it is deflating turning up from sometimes on a Sunday morning, playing against a team that's got 5 subs. And you're playing a game and the other coach is just rolling subs on and off and you're thinking, with no one, what do we do? But they've played for like 70-minute games and just worked the socks off. We beat a team the other week that came down with a bit of an attitude of, they've only got 10 men, we'll walk over these. There was a good side that we were playing. Really well run. I won't mention him, but if he listens to this, he'll know what I mean. And we beat them 3-0.
Gave him a whooping.
Well, it was a tough game. Half-time 1-0. And I remember the players coming on the pitch to start a second half talking, because they all know each other now. Like, they played against each other. And a couple of the away lads were, we just had a rollicking for not beating you lot, like, with 10 men. And then straight after second half, bang, bang, 3-0. And it was just like, wow, what a set of lads. And every credit to the away team manager. He had nothing but high praise to say about the lads, and that's what we found since Christmas, that every game the managers have said, what a team you've got there, like, what a set of lads to play with, like I say, 9, 10, sometimes 11 players, and hold their own. It's just great.
It probably comes from the belief that you put in them as well.
Yeah, but it's not about,
with them.
It's not about us. It really isn't, yeah. I've got a very good coach that helps me, Nick. His training sessions are top class. For a grassroots coach to put the sessions on that it does, he's helped us get to where we are. So Nick does the coaching side of it. It allows me to do all the rubbish side of the stuff.
The admin.
Yeah. but we work dead well as a team.
Yeah.
And yeah, I keep saying it. It's just, I like it. It's good. It is good. Going to cup finals, seeing some teams. We had another team last year that got to a cup final at Bloomfield Road. And to see them celebrate at the end just makes it all worthwhile. The hard days, the long nights, the scraping around for sponsorship to go and get them new kits. It just takes that one moment to make it all worthwhile.
I think this is the bit that nobody really talks about. And we're trying to do a bit more to shine a light on it. But you kind of just touched on it then, scrapping around for sponsorship. Like that phrase in itself tells you everything you need to know about grassroots football and the work that I think like the committee does to facilitate football happening. But as always, the other thing that people never talk about is they always try and do it for the cheapest possible price for the kids. Like if they had it their way and they could charge a big corporate and they get all the money in that way and then it's free for everyone, I know every single club would like jump at that opportunity.
Yeah. We've looked down that route. I've looked at like getting big sponsors in and saying
it's hard though.
Yeah. And
how do you?
When you're asking for money, you're asking for to sponsor the whole club, 26 teams that we've got. You're looking at like a £5,000-10,000 donation, which just people don't have to give that kind of money. So as I say, we have 26 teams. We swap kits every 2 years. So we'll go out trying to get 13 different sponsors to change 13 kits one season. Then the following season, we have to go out and find another 13 sponsors to sponsor the next 13 kits. A lot of the coaches do go out themselves to try and find the sponsorships, which is fantastic. But there is some teams that don't have it. Then that responsibility falls onto the committee to pay for the kids to have the kits. But like even for sponsorship for kits, you can be going out asking for £500, anything from £500 to £1,500 per team, and that gives you a blue home kit, red training away kit, drill top, rain jacket. But it's just so hard to go out constantly trying to find someone.
13 deals every single year is not easy.
It's not easy, no.
And I assume it's only a limited pool in your local area.
Yeah.
You know,
you're talking local tradesmen. Local fish and chip shop that we have been dead supportive over us. Ribby Hall, again, going back to Ribby Hall. Ribby Hall have been fantastic to us over the last few years. And they're a huge business in the area, but you can't expect Ribby Hall to pull you out of the dirt all the time. So it is going out asking everybody else. You're relying on mates, basically. Mates that are in the trade doing something. One of my mates, he sponsored our team for the last few years. But then after 2 years, I've got to go back to him and ask him for another £1,500 here, Some people are lucky and you only have to say the word and they'll hand the money over. Some you have to little pick at. But some people want something back from you. So you can have a sponsor sometimes and they'll go, well, we'll sponsor you, but what do we get out of this? Nothing. It's just social media. That's all we can offer. But if we're just a grassroots football club, we just need the local community to support, and that's what I think every grassroots team all over the country will be going out for all the time, sponsor the kits, getting local businesses behind, supporting. But it's not an easy task.
Rohan, can I ask, just on that point where you said you can offer nothing, do you think Wes is undervaluing the
I'd probably say nothing. I don't mean it as in nothing. I know. I mean,
you're not viewing it as a really valuable sponsorship.
No.
It's essentially a donation.
Well, I think
it is a donation.
It's really interesting because I speak to clubs about this all the time, and I say in no other part of the world do you have a company who's got assets to sell. So you, the club, are trying to sell. We've got team kit, we've got sponsorship, whatever it may be, and the person who's paying for the sponsorship going, I'm going to get no benefit out of this. Yeah. Which is, at what point does anybody go into a deal going, this is a lose-lose situation? We're not getting the amount that we want, but we'll just take it. And the business going, whatever, we're getting no benefit, but we'll just give you the money.
It's charitable.
Yeah. It's charitable. But I look at it and I'm like, we've just undervalued what we sat on here. What we should be saying is essentially, we have this amazing community of children who are going to grow up knowing about you and your business and everything. So whenever they need anything in the future, you're going to be their first port of call. We've got parents who also need, the same thing.
Yeah.
And over the period of the season, it'll be on the front of the kit. There'll be loads of media taken. There'll be the opportunity to turn up to an end of season award or whatever it may be that you can offer as well.
Yeah, which we do.
And I feel like that in itself is extreme. I'm like,
It's powerful.
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
And I can touch the people who are in my local area who I would otherwise be calling, sending out flyers, leaflets, whatever. And they've got this kind of positive brand affinity because they're partnering with the clubs, so they're helping the kids. And parents are then the number one fan of their own children. So anyone who helps them, the parent's going to love you already.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the story we need to be telling because that's so powerful.
Yeah, and like even on match days, most coaches do a bit of a match report to put on Facebook. So we always tag the company and who's sponsored. But I just always think it looks good on a company if your pictures on a kid's pictures on social media with your business on the front of that shirt.
Yeah,
I just think it's a very powerful sign that people do sponsor you. And as for going out and getting quite possibly 26 different sponsors of what we probably do have at the club, just shows how much support in the community, and it just shows how powerful the community is, really, that they do pull together. I don't think right now, I don't think we've got one team without a sponsored shirt.
That's amazing. Because we were saying as well, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a corner flag in the far corner.
Yeah.
We were saying to we basically last year we went round loads of county cup finals, and we were just educating county FAs in particular. This is how you could commercialise this event, and it's not about getting a sponsor to just say like this is the whatever the sponsor's name is cup final.
Yeah.
It was about like give them loads of extra stuff, so like brand the corner flag. Yeah. Obviously the cost is theirs if they want. All these different things that if they did that on a game on throughout the whole season, and they got the kit, but also every corner flag, 100%. Everywhere you look, suddenly they're going, all right, this is good value.
Yeah, and like even to the corner flags, as silly as it is, 9 times out of 10 you go to a game and the corner flag's just either a blue flag or a red flag on it. We went down the route of putting the club badge on the corner flags.
Yeah.
And they just look better.
So much better.
And it's funny that you say that because while we've been doing the fundraising, you're trying to think of all little ideas of how can we generate a bit more money. I've looked at shirt sponsorship sleeves just by getting another business to sponsor £200 and sticking the logo on the shirt sleeves. But you're just going down another route. We've got that much going on.
Yeah.
You just it's where you need more help. Like I say, we could just do a bit more help from like parents, just getting on board and just like, I'm not saying people aren't on board, but I don't think parents realise how much the committee need them. The club need the parents to be on board and supportive for the club to survive.
Yeah.
It's not about the 6 committee members that are on there. The 6 committee members just allow the club to tick over. But it's the parents and the support from beyond that keep the club going. Like, if we don't have the parents, we don't have the kids, you don't have a club. So it's just trying to be positive over every situation, and no matter how many bad situations you do come across, because you do come across them at grassroots, behaviour, things that shouldn't be taking place outside of a grassroots football pitch, parents arguing, parents shouting, parents screaming, parents swearing. There's a lot of negative on a Saturday, but the positives outdo the negative every time. On a massive scale, it's really... It'll be an hard day, when I have to walk away from it all, but I do want to walk away. I want to enjoy my youngest lad going through that. I've been a committee member with my middle lad all the way through the club. Now my youngest is 7, he's starting out. I've enjoyed going down and switching off for an hour and just watching him play football and watching him enjoy it, and me not having the worry of, I need to get that player on. That player's not had enough game time. That parent's...
Do you think that's the risk? Because when people like you who are so passionate for all the right reasons, and you're doing it, as we've said, you're juggling essentially 3 or 4 jobs, one of which is managing the club or supporting it in your role that you do for it. Do you think there's a risk where when you do step away, we've not got enough people coming through that want to do that because they don't really see the...
That's why I'm still here.
Well, how can someone fill the void of everything that you do? Because we've spoken very sort of high level about sponsorship, bringing money into the club, providing facilities, but you're also the guy that gets up from the night shift, goes round to all the grounds, makes sure that they're playable, calls the game off if it needs to be.
I don't want any sympathy,
No,
I do work nights, many people say to me, like, I speak to you, Wes, and I can tell you just how passionate you are about the club and etc. I am passionate. I don't ever need sympathy. I've had hard times, been through it all. I don't know. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's not like I get my buzz off watching the kids. Like, it's just great. Do you know what I mean? Like, from 6-year-old, I'm 47 now, 48 this year, from 6-year-old, Kirkham Juniors has just been part of my life one way or another.
That's amazing.
And I'm not the only person. Like, there's a lot of people in Kirkham, or coaches that will be coaching the club now that will have played for the club. Like I say, I've got a few friends that was on the committee with me that have stepped away from it. Their kids are no longer playing for the club. They're the people that I need on the committee with me because they've got the experience and knowledge in other areas that either I don't have or any of the other committee members don't have. As for going back for doing football grants, the paperwork that you've got to fill in to get a grant, if you don't know what you're doing, it's hard to fill the form out. Like, it's not just a straightforward form that you're filling out. You're asking for a lot of money. The forms have to be filled out correctly. And 9 times out of 10, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We've got a contact with Steve Kerwood. He runs the Fleetwood Town Football Club. He's had links with Kirkham Juniors in the past. He come to the black tie event. He's dead helpful, like, for funding and anything. He's got a department that deal with it. So he's been able to help us out a little bit over these last few months. So it's about tying in links there again with a professional football club.
Yeah.
Who's someone that has a link to the club that can help you on the more difficult things. Like, it just broadens. You've got to pull on everyone's help, basically. Like, don't think for 1 minute that Kirkham Juniors won't survive if I'm not part of it. Kirkham Juniors will always survive. There'll always be somebody to step up. But you do feel that you put a lot of time and effort into it. You do think, if I step away, who's going to fill my shoes? And that's not being big-headed, like, who's going to fill my shoes. It's just that you want the continuity.
That's it.
Of the club, and
you want the best for the club,
yeah,
right?
and it's not easy to find. Like, we're constantly looking for new committee members to join the club, but they need to be prepared to come on and do a little bit and have that spare time. And unfortunately, not everyone has that spare time.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I work full time. I work nights 2 months. 2 months I do nights, then I'm on days for 2 months. Then I'm back on nights for 2 months. But I only do it for 3 days a week. So I've got 4 days to myself at home. I won't say to myself because the club gets a lot of them 4 days. But it just works. It really does. And like I say, I've been out this week, and even driving down here this morning, I've had to put my phone on to do not disturb because it was just ping, ping, ping. And
Yeah.
then Gemma's on the phone to me. What we're doing next, how we've got, like, I've worked with Gemma now on the committee for a few years, yeah, and I reckon I've spoke to her more this last 2 weeks than I've spoke to my wife in 5 years. And my wife said, like, the last couple of nights, we get off your phone, like, you're on your phone constantly, but she knows that I'm doing it for the good. So my wife's really good to me as well, like, but you do think sometimes, like, God, I'm speaking to you more than my missus. Like, I'm ringing you like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. And that's how it's been for the last 3 weeks. But I don't mind that. I don't mind being busy at the moment because the end goal is the most important. And we will get to the end goal. I just need more people just to help out, really, and get it out there. I'd love, like, my ideal scenario would be one professional footballer just to see what we're trying to do. And it only takes one donation, yeah, to make a donation go viral. You could get a big footballer that could put £1,000 in on it and share it, and it goes.
Yeah.
It's stressful, it's hard work, but you also just need a bit of time to yourself sometimes. And while you're on the committee, I don't believe that you get a lot of free time. People go, you can't do this, you can't do that. Till you step onto the committee, yeah, you will not believe what work goes into running a grassroots football club. It's every day. Every day there's something new. There's something, answering emails. Can you help out here? Can you help out there? We can help you here. We can help you there. And you're just a parent, so you don't know who's the best one to lean on. But it's just, I don't know. I don't have the words.
It's magical when you see all that coming together.
Yeah.
And you get to a weekend and you see all that time and investment that during the week is tiring, is exhausting, makes you think sometimes, like, why am I doing this?
Getting up on a Saturday morning, it's throwing it down, yeah? And
Yeah.
you know you've got to go down to the pitches an hour before everybody else to get the nets, pull the nets out, set the pitches up, put the respect barriers up, be drowned wet through, and then the kids turn up to come and play football.
And it takes all that away.
Yeah. You forget about all that.
Yeah.
And it's just about the kids going out and having a game of football. And it's not about winning. I don't care if teams win. I don't care if they lose. It's not about that. It's the enjoyment that the kids' faces at
The
the end.
smiles on their faces is everything that it's about.
Again, going back to my 7-year-old, he scored his first goal the other week, and his face was just ace. Like, do you know that moment where that's what I do it for? That is why I do it, like to see my son that happy. And then he did his little Ronaldo celebration at the end, and then he scored for the last 2 weeks again. And they scored a great goal last week. And just to see how it lifts the child. Like, I know it's my own child and that I'm seeing. So you see that in the car on the way home, how they talk about it on the way home, and you can see the excitement. It's them little things that just make everything worthwhile. But I won't change any of it. The bad, I'll go through all the bad again, because we are a good club, well-run club, and we'll be here for at least another 50 years. And that was mine and Gemma's main aim for Project Home, was to give a long-term future home for the club. And I think that's what we've done. We've not finished it, but we've got the home. The home was such a big project. Like, we've had knockbacks for the last 6 years from the local council. Like, you weren't getting the pitches, you weren't getting this, you weren't getting that. The council's changed, of new members on the council, and the whole things changed. They've proper come into the club, they've proper helped out, they give us the land, they give us, yes, we've got to pay for it, but we've got a secure home. We've never had that in 50 years, and we've done it.
So exciting.
Yeah, it's massive, like, and I can't wait for the signs to go up of home of Kirkham Juniors. Playing around with your apps on your phone, trying to like just design a sign while I'm at work at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, that's the one.
Yeah.
And then putting it out, and that's a sign that we're kind of using on social media at the minute. I think such a little things can give you such a big lift. I'm probably going on a bit now, like, because I do go on, but I just love it.
It's passion.
Yeah, it is passion. And like I say, the meetings that I've had with people this last week, especially the one that I had yesterday with a guy called Mick Trelfor, he's just give me that boost. That I had a bit of a down day yesterday, like, and then I went and had a meeting with him. I come out of that meeting and I was just like, wow, I needed that chat. You brought me back to where I needed to be, and you now give me that next kick to go and do it, which has brought me here today. And then when I leave here today, it's straight back to the local pubs in Kirkham, sort out some fundraising events that one of the landlords of the local pubs in Kirkham, he has 3 pubs in Kirkham. He's going to do some fundraising for us. And that's people contacting us. That's not me going to them.
Yeah.
That's people coming to us and saying, we want to help you, which is great again, because you know that the calls and messages that we've been getting these last couple of weeks, you know that it's getting out there.
It just shows the community you've built as well.
You know, some of the days like we've had this last week, you're thinking, I think we've reached everywhere we can reach to. And then the next morning, you just get one text or one phone call, and it's like, wow, it's working. It's what we're doing is working. And like I say, the belief's there. If I don't hit 70,000,
you will.
I'll hit 50,000. £50,000 will get me the go-ahead to get the contractors on site. That's where I'm worried that if I don't hit the £70,000 target, I'm scared of giving the okay to contractors, knowing that I have to find possibly £20,000 in 3-4 months, and I have a bill to pay, and I don't have anyone to fall back on. So it's just so important that people like really believe in what I'm saying, see how passionate I am. I'm not the only passionate person about Kirkham Juniors. Yeah, we're all passionate about it, but I need help. Like, there will be people out there, yeah, that this money's nothing.
Amazing. Well, Wes, thank you so much for joining us, sparing the time. And if you do want to donate to Project Home, we'll leave the GoFundMe link in the description. As Wes said, if every person that watches this leaves £1, then Kirkham Juniors will be well on their way to reaching their target. And it's a really important mission. I think one thing that's definitely come across for us is your passion and how much you believe in it. So thank you very much for sharing your story with us.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. And yeah, we'll be back next week with more grassroots dilemmas, and hopefully we'll hear from more people on the ground in grassroots football doing hard work so that kids can play football.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
But please do hit that GoFundMe link, yeah? It's so important, right? And you'll make my life so much easier. You're giving my family life back a little bit. I just want people to believe in what we're doing. You'll see that we are going in the right direction. Just hit that donate button. Thank you.
See you next time.